Good evening. In the previous class, you discussed some of the concepts related to the robot framework. What is a robot framework? And then you discussed some of the concepts related to the futures of robot framework. That means what is a setup, what is a tear down, and then you discuss some of the concepts that what are the IDE you are using for the robot framework. You discussed those concepts. In the previous class, you install the Python and then PyCharm IDE. That means in entire class you discuss. That means IDE is there, but it is a somewhat difficult to identifying the links. That's why I go for the PyCharm. And then coming to the in this class, you will discuss about the some of the that means already you completed this task, the installation of Python, installation of PyCharm, and then install the Selenium robot framework Selenium libraries. That means you are going to installing the plugins. That means what is the necessity of plugin here is a that means it will auto complete or the auto intelligence capabilities are there. For example, if you type like this, I want to know settings information. It will yes related information. That's why you install the plugin. That is the main reason you are going to installing. For example, I want to know about the variable. You can get the all functions, all some information related to the V. That's why it's providing the IntelliJ facilities, auto completeness. For the purpose you are using this particular plugin. That means how can you install this particular plugin here? Go to settings. Here go to settings, and then there is a plugin option is there. Yes, you have a plugin option. Yes, you have a plugin option is there. Here you search for the IntelliJ. Already installed in my system. IntelliJ board. IntelliJ board plugin. Yes, you have a IntelliJ board plugin is there. You click for this one. Already installed in our system. Otherwise, if you want to install here, see if there is a option is there, install option. Click on this particular install option, then automatically install in your system. No problem. Here in my system, IntelliJ board already installed. In this way, you can install IntelliJ plugin. Okay. In this session, I am going to explaining about the some of the concepts related to the today's class. We will discuss about the what is a variable, and then what is the introduction about the robot framework you discussed previous class, and then how can you write the programs, and then in this class you will discuss about the what is a variable, and then you will discuss about the different types of variable. Today's class only you will discuss these concepts. Here coming to the how can you create a program in Python. Here if you want to create the program in Python, here in the previous class you created a one project name is a Python project. Under the Python project, right click here, right click, and then new option is there, then file, click on file, click on file option. Right here you can, for example, first program, for example, first dot robot, first dot robot. You will write like this, first dot robot. The file name here is a the extension of file name. It may be a dot robot. Sometimes you may use the dot txt file. Here robot framework takes a dot robot or dot ext framework. Okay, the structure of the robot framework. What is a structure? The structure of robot framework. What is the structure of robot framework? In this robot framework, in this file, you will write the programs like a, that means you have a four different sections you have. Four sections you have. For example, you have a four different sections. What are those sections here? The first section is a setting section. Here you have a setting section. And then second section is a variable section. And then the third section, you have a test case section. Under the test case section, you will write your programs. Finally, you have a keyword section is there. You have a four different section. Not only these four different sections, you will include some other sections also in our robot. Most probably, the entire structure of robot framework done with this section. What is a setting section? The settings section, what is the settings section here? Under the settings section, you are going to importing the some of the variables, some of the files related to the variables, and then resource files, some of the metadata files. You can include in this section. That means in Java, in Python programming, you are importing some pandas packages like that. Here also you have a importing some of the libraries. You can import the resource files. You can import the variable files. Like that, you can import the any kind of information under this section. Here, how can you import, for example, if you want to import the library, there is a keyword is there, library. If you want to import the resource, there is a keyword is there, resource. You will discuss later about one by one. What about this thing here? Said under the settings section, you are importing some of the required files. Coming to the variable section. What is the variable section here? Under this variable section, here defining the variable that can be used elsewhere in the script. That means you in this case here, you can define the different types of global variables. Whatever may be the variables you have, you can define the different global variables. Those global variables existed in this section. That is a main important section in this case. That means sometimes you required, I want to use variable in the entire section. You will declare some of the variables. Under this section, you have a three different variables are there. You will discuss later after that. After completion of each and every section, you will discuss one by one. What is the variable section? Coming to the next section, keyword section. Here, the test case section. What is the test case section here? Under the test case section, you will defining the some of the task. You will creating the sum of the task. You can call one more keywords. Like that means you can call. That means you can create a under the test case section. You will create the different text cases. Here you will different test cases you are going to creating. For that one, you will use this section. Finally, keyword section. The keyword section in the same in the Python programming itself is a module, like a module. You are creating the module like that. Here you will creating the own keywords. Based on the keywords, you can call in a text case section. You can call in a text case section. Here keyword section. Here in this section, you will define the user defined keywords that are specific to the script, that are specific to the particular script. In this way, you have a different sections available in robot framework. Very important concept. Here, based on this section, every programming, every test case written under these four sections. Under these four sections, the first information here, for example, you can use the spaces. How can you give the spaces for that one? Here, for example, if you want to create a variable, after creating the variable, you have to give the two spaces. Very important one. The spaces, two spaces or two or more spaces. Or you can use the tab. The comments also you can write like this. How can you write the comment here? As symbol, use it to writing the comment. Okay, some of the other information related to the this particular in section. This is a whole thing about the structure of a robot framework. If you know all this section, you can write easily a robot framework programming. Next concept here is a variables. What are the different variables available in Python? How can you declare those variables? Here already you discussed these concepts. What is a variable? Variable is a container. Variable stores some data. Variable is a container Variable stores some data. That means it is a name for the container. For example, in the Python programming, or for example, in Python programming, how can you represent a equal to 10? What is a a? A is a name of the variable. If you write, if you declare like this, automatically create a one container, or a pointing to that container, you will place 10 in a that particular container. That's the main intention of variables. That means it is a the container, it will store some data. You have a three different variables available in robot framework. One is a scalar variables, list variables, and then other one is a dictionary variables. And then the first one here is a what is a scalar variable? How can you declare these variables in this section? First of all, you have to for example, under this section you will write the documentation like this. Documentation, you can write the documentation, anything you can write. For example, what is this section? Under this section you will write the some of the documentation, as well as the some of the library files or resource files. Library files or the documentation, in the sense you will write documentation. After that you will give the two spaces. You will write this is first program. You can write anything here. And then if you need any libraries, you can write library. You can give some libraries. For example, you have a different libraries you will having. For example, selenium library. You have a selenium library. Selenium library, I think you can include the selenium library like that. Basic operating system library, like that. You have a different libraries are there. You can include those libraries. You will discuss later. Presently there is no need of library concept. Selenium library, operating system library, like that. You have a different library. Coming to the variables here, what is a variable? Here I'm going to defining the scalar variable. What is a scalar variable? Just now you discussed. Using scalar variable, you can store the single value. For storing the single value, you can use the scalar variable. How can you use this particular scalar variable? Using dollar symbol, you can create the scalar variable. For example, this is a way creating the scalar variable. Here, for example, see one thing here. How can you create the scalar variable? For example, you have a dollar symbol, flower bracket start, flower bracket end. Under the flower bracket, I am going to defining the A. I'm going to defining the A. What is the thing here? For example, dollar symbol name equal to UMAMAHESH. For example, I am giving like this. Dollar symbol name equal to UMAMAHESH. This indicates that it is a one of the scalar variable. This is a one way declaring the variable. One way declaring the variable. For example, I'm going to printing this one log. I'm going to printing this one log A. So you can give the name of the variable. Here is a, for example, under this one A. You can write some comment here. For example, if you that this is a way, if you the log indicates that in the system.out.println Java print statement, log to console. You can write log to console. This just like a print statement in programming. Just like this is a print statement in a programming. You can use log or log to console. You can use any one of the statement. I can tell you one by one. What is a log? What is a log to console? You can tell you. This is a way. For example, you can give some spaces here. This is a one way representing the variable, and then other way also there. I can tell you what is an other way for representing the variable. You have to give the dollar symbol and then colon. For example, A. After that, you will give the two spaces. Two spaces indicates that you are going to giving some information to the variable. You are giving some information to the variable, that is a this particular value, it indicates the variable name. For example, log to console. For example, you can give the any name for this particular variable. You can give any name. That means you have a some of the information related to the variable. For example, simple information. This is a simple way representing. I'm going to take the one variable value here. For example, simple scalar function I defined previously. See here. How can you define this particular simple information? I'm going to defining the variables like this. For example, I'm going to defining the variables. Two variables I'm going to. One is a name, other one is a some value, and then I'm going to give a name for the text case. Here, this is a the one thing you should remember here. You have to give the name for the text case here. This is a the scalar variables, or you can use simply, for example, text case one. Let us assume it is a text case. Yeah. Yeah, this is a way representing the variables. Okay, how can you execute this program? That means I think this is a scalar variable which will store some value. After that, you will give two spaces. Employee ID 123. After that, you will give two spaces. After that, I am printing. I am writing the first test case here. Text case one. What is the test case here? I am printing something here. You can use log and then log to console. You can give the one by one. How can you execute this program? For executing, you have a different methods are there. I am selecting the one of the method here. Here, go to terminal here. You have a some version control is there, some Python console is there, and then terminal is there. From the terminal, I'm going to executing our program. Here, what is how can you execute? Write robot. I can tell you later different way of executing the program. Initially, you have to know about the scalar variables. You can know robot. What is the file? That means I am in the same path. That's why first dot robot. First dot robot. Then it will give output like this. See, the test case will pass. That means I want to see the result. Where can I get the result here? See, if you want to see automatically, you have a log file is there. For example, where is the path here? I go to see user Python projects. Go to this place, C colon user Python projects. Under the Python project, you have a some log file is there. You can, that is the main advantages here. It will display the all information related to result. You see here, in this case you have a the test case statistics. It will give the total number of test cases 1, how many test cases pass 1, failed test cases 0, and then there is no skip. That means it's a give some information like that. You have a test cases related information, the full name of the test case like this, the documentation. I provided some documentation, and then what is the source here, which source you can get it. And then you have a, if you click right here, the test case related information. That means log name, log name. That means if you comes to in the Python, you will get the result. One test case pass. What is the result of this one here? Name. It will print a UMA. See, the test case related. That means it's not a console here. The first test case, and then the test case will passed, and then it gives some result. But you cannot get the result. If you go to here, you will have the result like this. Log the name, you will have some here, you will get the UMA. Okay, you will get the UMA. That means under the result only you got the value. What is the result of this one? Name UMA. For example, I'm going to give the result like a log. So for example, name, employee ID, EID, EID. Let me take this example. If you type this one, if you want to write this one in another test case, you can write another test case for that one. For example, I'm writing that one in another test case. For example, second test case. If you execute this one, see, two test cases passed. Two test case. This is the first test case. Test case one, test case two. Two are passed. I want to see the result. How can you see the result here? Here I can get the result. This is a result page. Or if you want to see the result, you can see the result. Two test cases pass. Under the first test case, you will get the result UMA. See, you got the result here. Under the second test case, you got the result here. 1, 2, 3. You got the result here. Like that, you can get the statistics about the test cases. That is a main advantages. Here, the total number of test cases 2, passed test cases 2, and then no failed test cases, like that. You got the some result in this case. Here, in this particular case here, I am using a log. I did not display anything here. If I use the log to console, log to console, log to console. If you give the log to console, the particular results are displayed in this case. See, previously I did not get the any result here for the test case 1. See, now I got the result UMA for the first test case. For the second test case, I got the 1, 2, 3 result. That is a difference between the log and log to console. Log to console. In this way, you can declare the scalar variables. The scalar variable store a single value. Single value, for example, UMA. For example, I'm going to declaring in other way. For example, this is a one way. This is a one way declaring this one. For example, I'm going to declaring these fields in a other way. For example, what is the other way? Approach to. Approach to. What is the second approach for declaring the variables here? Approach to C. For example, equal to symbol is there. Equal to UMA. For example, equal to this one also a one of the way declaring the variables. That means equal to symbol, dollar symbol, equal to, you can use space or not, no problem. If you declare the variables like this, you will give the double spaces, 2 spaces or 2 or more spaces. Yeah, verify this one, whether executed or not. One test case is failed, 2 test cases failed here. Why it is that is, this is a one way declaring the values. For example, I'm giving like this, whether it is taking 2 test cases. Why it is not going to 1 minute? I don't know. Okay, this one also one of the way for declaring the variables. Why is not taking this one? After that I can do the okay. After that I can give the 2 spaces. Now it is okay. Yes, verify this one. See, for example, variable name equal to, after that you will give the 2 spaces, not a single space. Here also you will give the 2 spaces. Okay, if you give the 2 spaces, then it is that, for example, this is a variable name. Name is a variable name. In the Python programming, we are declaring like this, and then the UMA is a value. UMA is a value. For example, for this one also, same, you can get the same result like this. You can get the same result like this. This is a way representing the variable. That means a different way. Approach one is a one of the way. What is an approach one? Under the approach one, variable name space value, double spaces, two spaces and then value. Approach two equal to something, something you are giving, something you are giving. This is a one way of representing the variables. Other type of variables are list variables. How can you declare the list variables here? The list variable used to store the multiple values. Before list variables, you have to, for example, if you give the console, if you give the log something I am giving, and then you have a some levels, priority levels. What are the levels here? For example, warn, 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 and then error. You This is a priority, or I can tell you this information error, and then some documentation or some of the information I can tell you one by that means those are called it as a warnings, error, some of the related information. Verify. How can you get this related information? These are some of the known related information. We can execute this one. What happened? See, it is passed. See here, the UMA. You can get the warning and then error messages. You got the warnings as well as the error messages in a program. See, that means the first cases UMA have the warning, error. That means the severity, it indicates the severity level of the test cases. For example, debug, not affecting for the test case. Warning, it is having some medium effect is there. Error, and that means more affected test case. That means you have to, other one is a critical. That means it will damage for the that means you will indicates the severity levels, the severity levels of the test cases done here. Here we have a 5 different severity: debug, warning, error, critical level. Like that you have a some severity levels are there. You will discuss later about the all these severity level. Very important concept here, severity levels. That is a simple information related to the scalar variables. Okay, the next session you will discuss about the list variables clearly. Okay.